I created something called the 4 Keys to the White House, and I want to talk about it because I want to know your thoughts. And I don't normally engage in like 2028 conversations very much, because when people go, "Oh, Chris, who do you think the nominee is going to be in 2028?" I usually go, "Can we please God focus on the task at hand now?" Donald Trump ripping apart the Constitution. He has us, teetering on the edge often of constitutional crisis by ignoring the judicial branch. He's waging a war in Iran, all these other things. And if you could win back the House and the Senate in 2026, it opens up a wide range of possibilities to hold Donald Trump accountable for a lot of these things. So don't get me wrong. I think we should be focusing there. But I also want to talk about this because it sort of relates to the midterms, as I think the Democratic Party struggles to figure out what it needs to be doing. Democrats, like, objectively, don't kill the messenger, are historically unpopular. Democrats in Congress are historically unpopular. Most Americans are just, there's a huge swath of independents these days. They're like, both parties suck. So Americans are trying to figure out what it means to be a Democrat. And so I created the 4 Keys to the White House, generally referencing 26 and beyond, 2028. And I want to know your thoughts. This is a new type of video for me, so let me know what you think in the comments down below if you enjoy. So the first one, and the first 2 are not as important as the last 2. The first key, and I scream about this all the time, is authenticity, okay? Washington is obviously seen as this place, and this is partly why Donald Trump's in power now, not to take, anything away from the horrible human being that he is. But part of the reason he's there is because everybody has viewed Washington for so long as a place where, these just fake people in suits and, go get super rich off our tax dollars, and they're like soulless creatures, right? Democrats need to either rally around a person or have the party rally around this idea of authenticity. Be authentic. I have always screamed, the person who will win in 2028, who knows who it'll be? And yes, a Democrat will win in 2028. Who knows who it will be? But I promise you one thing, they won't be perfect, but they will be radically authentic, okay? Be a human being. Go on a podcast and talk about how you and your girls got drunk and X, Y, and Z. Just be a human being. Americans are craving authenticity, especially in this environment. Number 2, and it relates to the first point I just made, go everywhere, be everywhere, do everything. And this relates for all Democrats, okay? You need to be on every single podcast, on every single show, in front of a camera, pretty much nonstop. I don't care if you're at the grocery store or it's Joe Rogan or whoever. I think part of this is not only the environment, but it relates to the first point. You got to show people that you are so authentic. We live in an environment where clips dominate constantly. Most people know either me or Adam Mockler or Hassan Piker or any of these other individuals on the internet through clips. It's the majority of what people are watching. And by clips, I mean on TikTok, it's, 60 seconds, or Twitter, maybe it's 30 seconds, or even here on YouTube Shorts. That's where most of people are understanding whoever they're watching. They're understanding what Adam Mockler stands for, as opposed to watching a full 15-minute video. Is that a great thing? No, but it's the reality. And so I think that you need to be everywhere, show people you're authentic, and you will start to break through to a lot of these different audiences if you're just radically authentic and you go everywhere nonstop. The last 2 keys that, again, I think are more important than the first 2. The first one is no more money in politics. Okay, you've got to run, if you're a Democrat or anyone around anyone running again, 2026 or 2028. No more corporate PAC money, sucking money out of Washington. No more PACs, no more individual stock trading, whatever it is, suck money out of Washington. This is going to draw a clear divide, and it has to happen between Republicans and Democrats. A lot of people feel like the 2 parties are the same. I would argue most definitely they are not, but that's how a lot of Americans are feeling. You've got to start drawing these contrasts. We know that Republicans Donald Trump is the most corrupt human being, the most corrupt president ever. He's 3 times his net worth. These people they do it all for the money and the fame. And so draw that contrast. Be look, we need to bring back to Washington some amount of trust. Again, part of the reason Donald Trump is here is because for so long Washington has been such a untrustworthy place. The trust in government has gone down and down and down and down. Again, I'm not trying to suggest that Donald Trump hasn't made that significantly worse, and he is not a key to that. But it's the reality. For 20 or 30 years, Americans' trust in government has gone down and down and down. You got to start bringing trust back to Washington. How? You say, look, I'm doing this because I care about you. It relates to the first point, authenticity. I'm not taking any money. I'm not taking corporate PAC money. I'm for the working class. Democrats are often seen now as the party of the elite, the party of the college educated amongst a lot of Americans. So draw that divide and say, we're sucking money out of Washington. We're done. And I know I keep talking about this as if you have to say it but not believe it, but you actually have to believe it. That's just really good for our democracy in general, to have people in Washington who actually care and to suck money out of Washington. if I could pick any amendment right now, let's overturn Citizens United, please, right? Because the money in Washington has really, really hurt our democracy. And that goes to the fourth key. And the fourth key is what I call, quote, abundance. Now, listen, I know Ezra Klein wrote some book called Abundance. I have not actually personally read the book. I'm not trying, I don't know enough about the book, but I call it abundance, and I'm sure it's part of what he talks about in the book, from a pure, like, how you run perspective and how you believe America can be shaped. Every single time Republicans and Donald Trump talk about achieving something, you have to take something away from another group. How do we lower housing prices? Well, we have to deport all the illegal immigrants. It's gross, it's disgusting, it's hateful as hell, right? But that's like a great example of housing prices. Deport undocumented people. How do we lower medical prices? Well, you got to take all the poor people who are apparently just taking money from like welfare and all these things, and it's causing medical prices to explode. Again, that's not true. That's not how any of that works, but that's how they frame it. It's always, we need this, and to get this, we have to take away from this group. We have to go after this marginalized group. We have to attack these people. Democrats, you need to just start running on like, hey, we're America. We can actually have it all. We can have lower housing prices because we're just going to invest in the idea of building houses. We don't have to take it all away. Let's run on a message of, again, hope. What does Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Zohran Mamdani have in common? They all make people feel very similar. They're change candidates. They're hope candidates, right? I'd argue two of those three candidates are radically authentic. The third one, Donald Trump, is perceived as radically authentic. I often say that he's the most authentic, least authentic person to exist. I talk to Trump supporters all the time, and I say, why did you vote for Donald Trump? And they say, because he says it how it is. He obviously lies more consistently and outrageously than anyone ever, but that perception of authenticity. So the reason I bring that up is because if you can run on, again, this authenticity is this hope, this change, and then combine that with the kind of abundance idea, like, hey, we can have it all. We can lead the world in these departments. We can have the best education in the world. We can lower housing prices by investing in the American people. We can have the best infrastructure in the world, infrastructure that's been failing for too long because we're going to invest in it. And I don't know, here's how we're going to pay for all of those things, increasing our GDP, XYZ investments. You get the idea, but you don't have to say we can't do it all. The future is so effed because AI and all this stuff. Like, go out there and be radically hopeful and believe in the American people and America to get it done. And I'm telling you that, like, people are going to innately be drawn to that idea. You don't constantly have to take from other people to achieve what we want. And then combine that a little bit with like the patriotism aspect. We can achieve what we want because we are Americans. I don't know. You can let me know what you think of that last point in the comments down below. But I've been thinking about this a lot because, again, the conversation, I feel like around 2028 is non-stop. And again, I don't want anyone to confuse this. I think we need to be focused on the midterms, but it's going to be really important just moving forward in general that Americans start to understand, what does it mean to be a Democrat? And I think if you can be authentic, if you can draw this divide that, hey, we're for the working class, we're trying to suck money out of Washington, we're trying to make this work for you, and we're trying to make it work for you by investing in the American people, we can do it all. I think you start to combine some of those keys, and Democrats will have tons and tons and tons of success. On that note, please, please, please make sure you are registered to vote in 2026. And if you need help with any like ballot stuff, like finding your ballot, there's this really cool website I found called Sway. This is not paid, I promise. I just really like this like website. It's called Sway, and essentially you can like join a voting group. And you can see, like, I have a voting group called Mowrey Movement, and you can join it and see the ballot recommendations I've made. I did some for Illinois. I'm in Illinois now, but I grew up born and raised in Georgia, and I've spent a long time in Georgia politics. A long time. I'm 24. I spent some time in Georgia politics, so I made ballot recommendations there. I can actually see where my group is located via state. So if I see like a lot of people in a state like Oklahoma, I can make ballot recommendations in Oklahoma, and together we can see how much power we have. Like, you can say, oh, I live in Georgia, I'm voting for Jon Ossoff, so I'm going to click, I'm with Chris's ballot. And if 50 people click that and Jon Ossoff wins, and you say, yeah, I voted for Jon Ossoff through this sway thing. Like, we've shown our collective power through that. I think it's a really cool concept. So you can check it out in the link in the description if you need help figuring out who to vote for. Listen, I appreciate you watching this video. It means the world. Again, different video for me. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I truly love each and every one of you, and I can't say enough how much I appreciate the support lately. Make sure you like and subscribe down below. And remember, you can listen or watch this show anytime on Spotify with a link in the description. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next video.